morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? It is Monday. Happy Monday. No, it's Wednesday. I have the dyslexia.
Is it really?
No, it's Wednesday.
Monday.
It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday.
I feel that you started, and I'm not. This is by no means. This is loving. You started the pre-podcast. You started in. I felt like it was very manipulative because you put flowers, the gift of flowers from yesterday's anniversary, right beside the camera, and said, I need them to look at the camera with.
Yeah.
And so now I'm taking the assumption is that if there's not flowers there, you're really going to struggle.
It's a challenge because I have a tendency.
So now you're talking to flowers. We should put.
I need to see.
You need to see.
Yeah.
I believe that I've had many gifts in my life, and I don't want to diminish any of your gifts that you've ever given me. You gave me beautiful gifts my whole life. But last night might have met an all-time high. My parents came over to drop off an anniversary gift, and there was a card, beautiful card. It was a pretty card, beautiful card. There was no money in the card. I always think that it should be $5 bill at the very minimum. So if you're giving cards, put a $5 bill in it just for fun.
Because John is a 10-year-old boy.
I remember my aunt used to give us cards my whole life for my birthday, and there was always a $5 bill in it. And then one day we knew she wasn't doing so well one year when she said, and spend this little gift on something nice for yourself, and there was no $5 bill.
So last night
they came over, opened up the gift, and there was T-bone steaks. And I was like, I don't even know how to respond right now. Like, I'm like, this is loving. That I can't eat it right now. Like, should we barbecue them right now? But I guess for dinner tonight we're having T-bone steaks. What a gift! I've never had I don't think I've ever had the gift of meat. I don't believe I have. Have you?
Wrapped in beautiful butcher paper.
And butcher paper and everything. It was like.
You knew right away what it was.
And the weight of them. I didn't even open them to look at them. I was just like, this is weighty. And it's like,
oh, cute.
Did you feel the same way? Did you have the same response? Did you have the same response?
No. I'm excited. I do like steak. I do enjoy steak.
But it's not. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I totally get it.
No, I think it was very thoughtful of them. Especially because now I don't have to figure out what we're going to have for dinner tonight. I appreciate that. I actually realize I don't mind cooking. It's just like coming up with an idea all the time and making sure that the meat is out of the freezer. Because we're the people that freeze all our meat.
The pre-prep.
All our meat is frozen. So that requires me to be...
Not today, my friend.
Constantly preparing.
Not today. We got the T-bone steaks that are not frozen. They're going to be slapped on the grill.
Way too much.
And I do all the barbecuing.
Yes, I love that.
All right.
I think it's important to barbecue every day in the summer.
Okay. With flowers. All right. Flowers and barbecue.
Welcome to my princess life.
Let's get our reading on. Let's get our morning devotion on. And hopefully that you can get something out of this too as we meditate throughout the day on the concept that we're going to be reading.
So if you're just joining us, we read a daily reflections meditation book. And this one is from AA. This one is written by AA members.
Chew. Bless you.
Oh, I wish I could pause myself.
Can we pause the video?
Okay.
All right, here we go.
2 magnificent standards. All AA progress can be reckoned in terms of just 2 words, humility and responsibility. Don't you feel like that's just like personal progress? Life progress? Humility and responsibility. Our whole spiritual development can be accurately measured by our degree of adherence to these magnificent standards. That's from As Bill Sees It, page 271. To acknowledge and respect the views, accomplishments, and prerogatives of others, and to accept being wrong shows me the way of humility. To practice the principles of AA in all my affairs guides me to be responsible. Honoring these precepts gives credence to the tradition for, and to all other traditions of the fellowship. Alcoholics Anonymous has evolved a philosophy of life full of valid motivations, rich in highly relevant principles and ethical values, a view of life which can be extended beyond the confines of the alcoholic population. To honor these precepts, I need only to pray and care for my fellow man as if each one were my brother.
Wow.
Exactly.
That is so deep. And it's just saying that AA isn't for, it is for alcoholics, but the concepts and the spiritual principles are for anybody that wants to live a spiritual life. I lost my partner. And I think that the ingredients of humility and responsibility are the ingredients to bake a cake of progress, and the concept of progress and not perfection. And so I see that in step 4, and so many times we're focused on the other person. This person has caused me hurt and pain, and wherever there's a resentment, wherever there's fear, there's usually a part of myself that has been harmed. And so I go into it thinking it's like about this other person, and I'm going to write this inventory. And then when you get into the process, you actually see you're actually faced with the realization, and you have to be humble, and you have to take responsibility that you've actually done this kind of thing to either yourself or the other person or to the world around you. And then you get to the driving force behind that, and it's always a fear. And so taking responsibility and being humble and going like, my life isn't as connected to God as I thought it was. And then you can progress into your relationship with God.
And I feel like a lot of people can just say like, well, this doesn't really apply to me.
Yeah.
I'm not an alcoholic. But if I'm having conflict in relationships, if I'm having conflict at work, if I have like
conflict in yourself,
conflict in myself, if I'm, struggling to deal with daily life, if, there's these concepts of, the concepts of AA 12 steps can really help move me from one place to another. And I love, this idea that, that living a life full of valid motivations, rich in highly relevant principles and ethical values.
Those are big words.
Those are barely big words. But we do want to learn how to acknowledge and respect the views, accomplishments, and prerogatives of others. And then also to learn how to accept being wrong, that those are so huge. And that's humility. And I know for me, like, it's not, they talked about humility and responsibility, but for me, a big thing that I noticed in recovery was how much you grew in integrity. For me, integrity was like always, like, for the most part, progress, not perfection, but, being able to follow through on things that you said you were going to do, being where you said you were going to be when you said you were going to be there, not ever making empty promises, but just being able to like be the person that you are, being able to be that person everywhere you go, not being a certain person in one place and having different characteristics, like when we're in the home behind closed doors. And I think that that's been a beautiful gift that the program of AA has brought into our life.
And I like the concept of a spiritual life of being one of progression and progress. And it's like, there's not going to be this perfection thing. It's going to be a continual dying of self daily. The ego rebuilds itself. And so I have to be in the progress of connecting to God every day. And so there's no like, well, I connected with God, I got it.
Right.
Like, my life's perfect now. And then 2 years later,
10 years ago, I had this experience, and I, and for us, because we're in the church world, we see that in our Christian lives. I mean, for sure, that's how I lived before. I'm in, high school and became a Christian. It meant nothing to me. Like, I didn't actually know what that meant, and I think that's why church gets such a bad rap and Christians get such a bad rap in the world of like, I just had no idea how to apply any of it to my actual life and to be this person everywhere that I go.
And I think that's the beautiful thing with addiction is like, there's this line of transmission that the professional, like doctors and the medical institutions don't have this line of transmission. And so when you get a guy or a girl working at a treatment center and you come in and you find out that this person is there for their own sobriety and you have this line of transmission, all of a sudden you're a lot more open and able to receive, because he's not looking down on you. He's actually trying to get you to come with him.
Shared experience.
Yeah. So that's a great ingredient to get the product of progression.
Where do you suggest
Progress.
that people start?
Rehab. Go to. I think
I
the
thought you were gonna-
humility of. Okay, what did you think I was going to
thought
say?
you were going to say we have a meeting starting in like not 2 hours,
You're so
12 p.m.
clever.
Eastern Standard Time, which is in a couple hours today on Zoom.
Yeah, it's all addictions, open to everybody that may have life may be affected by addiction, whether it's your kids
Family.
or maybe it's a family member or maybe it's yourself, and maybe you just want to learn. So we're going to have a speaker talk about 20-25 minutes about a topic of recovery, and then there's a time of open share or questions. So join us at noon Eastern Standard Time on Zoom. All the information is below and whatnot.
Is it though?
It's on our social
The
media.
information's somewhere on our social
The information is there. And so we'll see you at noon. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. And peace and love and all that stuff. Keep the peace and be of good behavior.